Alright, so today we're reviewing a Peavey Vypyr 30 watt amp. And this amp is kind of cool because it has a lot, as you can see, effects on it. There's stomp boxes, there's your amp models, there's actually 24, there's 12 amp models, and there's clean and distorted versions of each. There's effects, there's all sorts of stuff. It's kind of a confusing amp right out of the box. It takes a while to get used to, so that is kind of a downside to it. You turn on the amp without a guitar cable turned in. Sweet little light show. One of my favorite parts. Once you plug the guitar cable in, it usually, and I say usually, goes into normal mode. So this is the amp on a clean setting. I'm using an Epiphone Les Paul standard to play through it. Actually, one of my favorite things about this amp is the clean tones it can make. With each knob, it's actually really cool. When you press in, it becomes a distorted version of it. Which is kind of sweet. The only problem though is this amp, it does actually freeze when you try to move through these sometimes, which is kind of irritating. And when you push this knob in, hold it for a second, it goes into tuning mode. You can actually tune your guitar from there with a chromatic tuner, so I like that a lot too. It's kind of hard to read where the notes are, but you get used to it. And then down here, we have kind of a bluesy amp channel. It's kind of sweet. It has some effects and stuff. I really actually don't use them at all. Alright, right now, we're going to show you the octaver. And it's got a phaser. That's kind of cool. This one is actually one of the most bizarre effects I've seen. It's called reverse. I have no idea why that was kind of added on here. It takes the signal and reverses it, which is interesting. And then for the stomp boxes, it has like tube scream. And it has this thing called a Moog. A really confusing part about this amp is actually you have to push in to mess with things such as reverb and stuff. Because there's actually two different parameters on each thing. Like that's actually the delay when that's pushed in, but when it's not pushed in, it's not. So another little interesting thing about this amp. It does have different presets, 3 different banks, and they each hold 4, and then there's the 1, 2, and then that changes it, and you can store them just by holding it down. So that's kind of nice. I guess my biggest problem with it is these do freeze sometimes. When you go to switch into the tuner, it'll actually get paused, and that's frustrating. So I don't like that about it. But other than that, if you're looking for kind of like a beginner amp to figure, you're not sure what you like playing yet, it can pretty much do almost any kind of tone you want. It can get super distorted. So it pretty much covers pretty much all kind of tones you want. I haven't really not been able to find the tone I'm looking for yet, so I like that a lot about the amp. It definitely is loud enough to play with your band and play over the drums easily. I can hear myself over the drums when it's on 4 out of 13, so that's nice. And I picked it up for like $200 at Guitar Center, so a good deal on that. Yeah, it's a pretty good amp. It freezes sometimes, kind of frustrating, but besides that, I like it a lot. This is the Peavey Vypyr 30 watt amp.